CBC is one type of digital dollar that is released by the government. It would be controlled by the Federal Reserve and backed by the full faith and support of the US government. This could be an option to current payment methods and have benefits like instant payment settlement, a way to make deals across borders, and a greater focus on financial inclusion. Over 130 countries have started to look into making their own digital currencies that are backed by the government. There are already test projects going on in China, Russia, Saudi Arabia, and India. A digital euro pilot could start as early as 2028. At the same time, the US is still a long way behind, even though more and more information is coming out about the features of digital currency. These words belong to the US Congress right there. We want to make it clear that the US Congress has clearly said that XRP is okay in the US, not just banks and other financial institutions should do this. Everyone agrees that XRP can be used for both local and foreign transactions. This includes the US Federal Reserve. Why does this matter? The world change is known to the US Congress. Countries like China, India, Brazil, and others are working with Ripple to set up their own digital currencies that will be issued by their central banks. The US doesn't want to be behind on this change. And can you guess which company they're working with? Yes, Ripple. As always, welcome back to CoinGraph, the place to go for all things XRP. The BRICS countries Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa have worked together on a central bank digital currency that they can all use. The US is going in the same direction. Let me show you a video that shows how Ripple and the US Federal Reserve talked about CBDCs all the way back in 2015. This historical background makes the work that Ripple and the US have done together behind the scenes stand out. It's clear that Ripple was going to win the SEC case based on this work together, even though there are public fights between these two groups. Do you remember how Ripple first told the Federal Reserve about the FedNAB payment method in 2015? The Federal Reserve didn't give Ripple direct credit when they released the system, but there are hints. The Federal Reserve talked about a possible relationship with a blockchain company that could make payments quick and easy, with transactions taking only 3 to 5 seconds. Gary Gensler has spoken out many times about how the US Federal Reserve could use Ripple, even before he became president. When the SEC was suing Ripple, Gensler said he was sure that the Federal Reserve would add XRP and Ripple to their payment system, so that it could be used for both local and foreign transactions. Let's move on to more recent events. Riverbank has finally joined the FedNet payment system. Riverbank is a well-known Ripple payment partner that uses the Ripple system. Let us break this down. This is more than just a bank. It helps people send and receive money using Ripple's XCurrent and XRapid services. For on-demand funding, both of these services use XRP and its blockchain. Since Riverbank joined FedNet, it's clear that XRapid, XCurrent, and Ripple, which are all based on XRP, will play a part. In other words, the FedNet payment system is ready to use XRP to meet its cross-border funding needs. As a result, we can expect XRP's value to rise as its uses and benefits grow. If you own XRP and are watching this is good news for your investment. The fact that XRP is now used in regular banking systems is more than just a sign of the cryptocurrency's promise. It shows how the world of global business is changing. As more standard banks realize how fast, efficient, and cheap blockchain technologies like Ripple's are, we're seeing a change in the way things are done. The support of Gary Gensler and the actions taken by organizations like Riverbank are also only the tip of the ocean. The power of XRP and similar technologies will be felt across the whole financial industry as more companies learn about them and use them. Before we go any further, I have some great news for my readers. There will be a giveaway of XRP. Just do these 3 easy things to join in. Click subscribe and on to show your support for this movie. Then share it with your friends and family. When I pick our lucky winner, I'll make sure that these steps are followed. So everyone have a good day. When we reach 130,000 users, we'll let everyone know who won. Now let's get back to the subject at hand. XRP's value and how important it is becoming. We've talked about how the US Federal Reserve is interested in it and how most people in the US want to use it. But people outside of the US are also seeing how useful XRP could be. Some countries like the BRICS nations and even the EU with its digital euro project are looking into what it can do. For more information on how XRP is being used in Europe's digital euro project and the BRICS countries' CBDC, you can watch our movies on those topics. To restate our main point, the US isn't just interested in XRP as a possible CBDC, which we talked about in another video, they also want to use it to make cross-border trades more efficient. This doesn't just apply to CBDCs, it also applies to banking transactions in other countries as well. Let's look into what this means for the value of XRP. Going forward, XRP's value will change as more people use it, especially big financial institutions like the US Federal Reserve. The usefulness of a coin is after all a big part of how much it's worth. When a digital commodity like XRP is added to big financial systems, it's not just about the benefits it brings for transactions right away, it's also about the trust and authority it gives in the long run. The world's business scene is changing very quickly. As digital trades become more common and people want quick, cheap cross-border payments, cryptocurrencies, especially ones like XRP that have already been shown to be useful, play a very important role. When big countries and financial institutions back XRP, it can really take off and become its own thing. This is a very important time for businesses and fans. With all of its current support and connections, XRP is on a path that points to a bright future. But as with any business, it's important to stay informed, keep an eye on how things are changing, and make choices based on a lot of study. Is it possible that XRP will reach $10,000? In the crypto world, this question has been getting a lot of attention. We'll get to it soon. It is important to note that international organizations, especially those from North America, are becoming more interested in the XRP blockchain. As the crypto world grows, digital currencies are now used in more than 130 countries. XRP is often pointed out as a leader. What do you think XRP could be worth? Speculations range from $10,000 to an amazing $35,000. This is because it could play a big part in global CBDC operations, which are digital currencies run by central banks. What does this mean? As more countries start to use XRP for international spending, it might become the standard currency for everyone. This was made clear by the executive director at Will Hill Capital. If XRP is accepted as the world's standard currency, a lot of the world's wealth would move through the XRP ledger. Even though there is a lot of XRP available, its worth could go up because of the high demand, putting it in the $10,000 to $35,000 range. These are the XRP predictions and prices that investors and fans are looking forward to seeing. Do not forget that I am not a qualified financial planner. The information in these movies is only meant to be entertaining. Before making any financial choices, I always tell my viewers to do their own study and talk to professionals. Thanks for listening. Please give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to click the follow button if you liked it. Also make sure the alerts are on.